What's up, guys? I'm Brandon Willis, and I'm taking the time to stop and show you guys who are curious about how the layout and everything works at Full Sail the opportunity to see that. Now, as you're looking at my screen, over here you see a picture of your teacher. Beneath that, but it's blocked out for you guys, you see it's going to tell you a drop menu. It's going to tell you what term you're in and what department this is. Beneath that will be a little gray icon. That term and department's going to be on orange with a drop button. That's going to tell you what term, like when you took the class, what time period you took the class. For me, it's 2018, 10th month, and then it tell you with a space what actual class number you're in. And then if you click on the picture of your instructor, they'll tell you their name. It'll tell you they're an instructor at the school. And then beneath that, it'll say send them a message or view their profile. Now, I'm going to back off of that so that I can go through the rest of the drop-down menu, which you have content, people, messages, announcements, the about section, which gives you information about the class. The content's going to tell you what content you have in the class, people, who's in your class, messages, announcements. Then you have a drop menu that takes you back to the home page, which shows you what classes you have. You're going to go to, it has messages and help again. Now, here going across the top, you see it says Full Sail University. Then you get your notification icon. That notification icon is for whenever somebody sends you a message, if you sent them a message or if they're asking you something pertaining to the class or separate from the class. It'll also notify you when the teacher or instructor, whichever you prefer to call them, gives you feedback on your assignments. So whenever you get feedback, it'll pop up there under the notifications. The message button next to it will also be when you get messages from people. But notifications will pop up for messages and it will pop up for grades. If they have no particular information to give you, your grades will just pop here and your messages won't. But either or, they're going to pop up under both. Next to that, you have your picture. From there, it has your account. It has logout button, the Full Sail email, so it'll connect you to your email account. Then you have your connect, which takes you to a portal of other resources that you get once you're in school. You have my stuff, which will take you to what grades, what classes you completed, your GPA, all that important information. Resources, which as you can see is student manual, the library, Safari books, Linda, use of term, and it has this little Full Sail stamp at the bottom of that. When you get in your classes, you will see, as I see here, and actually changed it because you used to be able to see all classes you took prior to the classes you're currently in under the list, but they changed it and removed any classes you're not in at that moment. That way you can go back and cheat and give other people information to try to help with the whole plagiarism ordeal. But as you see here in this gray bar, you have class progression. This is going to tell you how many assignments you have ungraded, how many assignments you have left to be completed in that class, what grade you have currently in that class, with the gray bar showing how much of it, the class, and the pi percentage you have left, and the best possible grade you can get if you get 100s on everything else that's left in that class. There's a grade calculator, so you can even calculate stuff. If you know that you're going to struggle on something, you can go here and you can figure out the calculations yourself, but you really don't have to because it's going to figure it out for you. Beneath that, I'm not going to click into any of them. I'll click into Get Started one just so you can get an idea of what's going on there, but maybe. We'll see. But when you go down, it'll have Get Started. All classes will have that. That'll be like your first day in class. It'll have your syllabus, what the teacher or instructor expects of you. It'll give you information about that teacher or instructor. Usually they have a video posted to introduce themselves to you visually and verbally and socially, so you get an understanding of who they are as a person. That doesn't mean they all grade the same. My last teacher, she was a bit of a hard grader. I thought I was doing A+ work, and I was getting like B+s, A-. in a lot of my stuff. And I was putting in 40 hours a week of the work. Every teacher's going to grade different. Be respectful of the teachers. That's the best thing to say. I asked the teacher about it, but I wasn't disrespectful. Like, hey, why am I getting low grades? It was more like, excuse me, I'm putting in all the work, and I see whatever you write on this assignment, I apply it to the next assignment to try to get a better grade, but blah, blah, blah. That's not so important. Long as you are grasping the content as much as possible and you carry it going forward, that's the best thing you can take out of this class. One of the things you'll hear me say that you'll hear in your class is the word resonate. You want everything you learn to resonate with you as you progress through this school. So as you see here, your classes are broken down into the get started, which is that day, first day, and then weeks. You have week 1, 2, 3, and 4. And your final reflection, which you do on your own at the end of the class, and then it goes away. And it's just to help you, when you get further along, go back and reflect on these videos that you said to say, hey, this is what I got out of this. This is what's helped me grow so far, and this is where I want to go going forward. It's exactly what it sounds like. Excuse the stuffy nose. My allergies have been killing me for like the last few weeks, but we're going to try to push through that. It's going to give you a roundup of all your grades. When you click that drop down menu, it's going to tell you everything that you have to do in that class for that week. Remember, this is not you guys' first class. This is my second month, so it's my second and a half, third class if you include orientation, which they do on your schedule and your grade point. It's all included. So please do your orientation that first week, and you can only do it the first week of school. So you technically have 2 classes for 1 week, and then you just have your main class. And that first week in creative presentation, it's going to be ridiculously easy because you need to do the orientation too. And if you don't do the orientation, it'll come back to bite you on your grade point average if you care about that. I would say you do, because the better you do in school, being that all of this goes into your portfolio, the better it looks to the employers you want to be hired by. I know a lot of the people who are watching this video who have curious questions and want to know about this are watching this because this is your dream and you want to see if you can fulfill that dream. I think there is no reason anybody going here can't make it through these classes, at least so far, going at the end of month 2, as you can see. I'm going to be in my last week on Sunday, and I feel like if you put in the work, it'll show. As you can see from my grades, if you put in the work, it'll show. There was a few things that I got like lower grades on because I've got hundreds on just about everything I have except for 2 things. I have 2 90s on some open book tests I did. That was I was in a different class and they moved my class because there was a lot of students that need to shift them around and whatnot. And I got a 94 the first time I took the open book tests. And then they moved my class. And then when I went to take the open book test again, I remembered most of what I put. But I knew I only got a 94, so I changed 2 of my answers to see if those were the 2 things I got wrong. And I made it worse, not better. So that's what brought me down to that 95.87. They do not round up at this school. So if you have a 94.85 for one of your grades, it's just an A. It's not an A+. They're not going to round it up to an A+. There are extracurricular things you can do, and they will explain to you in detail what you can do for extra credit, but it's not going to be per teacher. And I think it's, I don't want to lie to you, either once a semester or once a year or something like that, they'll allow you to earn extra credits, to extra 10 points to put towards one of your class's grades. So as you hear me saying now, there is opportunity for you to improve your grades. It's just a matter of you putting forth the effort. Now, I'm going to take a quick break for like a few seconds, and you're going to see me come back because I'm going to show you guys the thing you receive your second month of school, and that is the the Apple tablet. Give me a few seconds here.
Okay, so now that I'm back, I want to show you guys what you get. So you'll receive one of these. Ta-da! This is your box. Yes, your box. So this is your box. You'll receive it. iPad. I'll spin it so you guys can see it. So we'll just bring it back here. So this is the box. It's an iPad, as you see. That it'll come in, and it'll come in a package box. I don't have the little package box that it came in, but when you pull it out, it's gonna have all of the essentials. So I'll open up the box. I've pretty much taken everything out, so nothing's gonna be in here. But I'll show you guys, and I'll show you guys once the laptop and the VR headset and whatever else gets here. So you open the box, right? 2 pieces. You open the box, and inside this box, this is where your power cable comes. It'll be wrapped around here with the part you plug into the outlet, the little dongle in the middle. Down here, you have your instructions booklet inside the little crease fold. Underneath that, you get the rest of what comes in, and the tablet itself will be sitting on top. Now, because I have kids, as you can hear my son in the background sitting there, I don't want it to get broken, and I kind of want it. It's a lot nicer than what I expected. I normally don't like Apple products at all, mostly because I don't like that enclosed ecosystem. I like to have the freedom to do what I want and upgrade and change things. But here it is. This is the 6th gen that they sent me. I put it in a little case because I didn't want it to get broken. But it has, you want to go let them in, buddy? Mama, back door. But as you see, this generation, it has the, I'll turn it this way, it has the touch sensitivity. So I hit the button, the screen pops up. That's my son. And it has the thumbprint scanner to unlock it. And then that's my home screen. And you can use it for whatever. I mostly use it, as you can see right here. I mostly use it for school. You can't really see because I have that double bright screen right now. But I mostly use it for school. Just so you guys can see, it's Apple. But I mostly use it for school so that I can check the work when it gets to the point of checking it. Another little thing that comes in the box is little Apple stickers, if you guys care about that. The little Apple stickers. Now, to get more onto the classes, you'll have orientation your first week, and you'll have the first week to do it. Along with orientation, you'll have, most likely, because I believe that's the very first class everybody has to take regardless of what you're doing. I myself have game design, but you could be taking anything from music production to sportscasting to film creation, blah. You know, they have a lot of stuff at the school. But everybody's going to take creative presentation. In my personal creative presentation class I had with the teacher I have, they're all going to be different. They all got their own personalities, but they're all going to present themselves to you in the get started portion that I showed you guys earlier, where you're going to get to know the teachers themselves. I would say if you get to know somebody, if you don't have a friend that's going when you go, get in the habit of wanting to do your homework together, because it's kind of motivating. Like for me personally, I have a buddy who's down in Florida, but he goes online, and then I have another buddy that's like a year and a half ahead of us, and he goes to the school in person. Me and the buddy that both go online and we started at the same time. Actually, he told me he was starting, and I was like, I got the school because I'm ex-military, so I was like, I'll go with you. When I signed up and rushed through the process so I can be in at the same time as him, we were hoping we'd be in the same class. But the way it works, regardless if we're in the same class, the content that you have is the same. So if you and another buddy can get going together, thumbs up, really. Like, do it. But if you guys can't, it is what it is. Try to get in the habit of, like, communicating with some classmates to get stuff done. You do have class lectures, and the class lectures are online, and you can put your headset on and whatnot, and everybody will be muted, and the teacher will go through the parts, and then if you have a question, you can hit the raise your hand button, and they'll walk you through the whole setup of how to set it up. And you'll even have a calendar system where you can add it to your calendar so you can be alerted, hey, it's time for class. Even if you don't do that, they'll send you emails to whatever email you set up, so you can have it go to your school email or your personal email, whatever. They'll have all that. They'll give you their number. Usually instructional to give you the number to communicate with them because they care about you as much as you care about yourself passing in these classes. So the more effort you put in, the more you get out of it. I definitely called my teacher in my first class because I had questions. And, well, I sent her a message and I gave her my number. And then she called me to better explain stuff to me, what was going on, because I had some questions, because I just assumed everything was going to go la 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 la, but I didn't ask any questions along the way because, you know, it's online. You just assume, you know, whatever they put, that's the end of it. And they don't really have a lot of time to go in debt because you're going to take each of these classes. After 30 days, 4 weeks, boom, you're on to the next class. Like, that's it for that class. So everything that you put in each week highly affects your grade, because that week, once it's done, it's done. That's 25% of your grade. Whatever it mounts up to be, that's going to be like 25% of your grade. Guaranteed. We had like, there was in the first month, there was the main part of the grade, and then there was like the discussion part, and that was like 20 and 5. I can't promise you it's going to still be the same, but it was 20 and 5 every week, I think, or it went down like 1 week to like just the 20, and then the last week there was the final assignment, the response to other people's assignments, and something else that came out total to be 100%. But they'll break it down over the 4 weeks, your 100%, and that fourth week's probably going to be your biggest percentage of your class. But regardless, there's going to be a big assignment in every week that you must get done. You must do whatever you got to do to get it done. Going into your second month, you have probably going to be psychology of play. They do say that some of this stuff changes around, so you might not necessarily have that. You might have one of the other classes, but they try to get the main classes you need out of the way as soon as possible. In my psychology of play class, I was going into this like, oh, psychology, I don't want to do that. But it's really not what you think. It's, regardless of what field you're going into, it shows you how game mechanics, not necessarily like video games, but there are game mechanics, like stuff that you would see back when you were a kid, and board games, how they affect your life going from a child to an adult, and how game mechanics can motivate people to do things in the workforce. And it's, a lot of my classmates said, and a lot of stuff that I said was like, wow, I didn't know this going into this, and this is stuff that I could use going forward to improve things in life, because it's motivational. It motivates you. It sets goals and parameters, makes you want to push out and reach out and get those things. I definitely say the style of how the classes are set up changed from month 1 to month 2. In month 1, I'm leaning back so you guys can see my fingers. In month 1, we had a main assignment, and that main assignment was broken up over the 4 weeks. So we had to do like a rough draft, in week 2. Or no, not even a rough draft. It was an outline in week 2. And the outline was like the step past brainstorming, but the step before a rough draft. And they wanted you to lay out what your plan was and how you were going to do things and kind of like what you want to say, broke it up into the parts. Pretty much like an essay, but with all the brainstorming stuff in there too. Then you have, going into week 3 of your first month, you have your rough draft. And your rough draft is a rough draft of your final assignment, your big project that's going to affect your grade heaviest. And it really pays to put as much work into it as you possibly can, because this is your final grade. This is your final assignment. I'm probably going to post after this what I did for my assignment, just so you guys can get an idea what I did. I didn't get a 100%. I got a 95. There was things, I believe my teacher said my pictures weren't that strong. And I believe vocally it wasn't that strong because I was dealing with allergy things during that time period too, because it was the beginning of fall and now we're at the end of fall going into winter, so my allergies kick in and mess with me. But even for the 40 hours that I put into that assignment in particular, the more time you can put into it, and I don't mean like 40 hardcore hours, 10 hours a day straight, you pouring into assignment and then 4 days later you're like, it's done, forget about it. More like work on it for an hour, take a look at it, do some revisions, put it down, go do something else. 2 or 3 hours later, come back to it. That way you got fresh eyes when you're looking at it and you can say, I feel like it's good. And that's where your buddy comes in that I was telling you guys about before, because then you can call up your buddy if you trade numbers with someone, or you have a buddy or a friend or a family member that you're going to go to school with, and you can say, hey, I finished my assignment. Did you finish yours? They're like, yeah, I'm done. All right, I'm going to send you mine, and you tell me what you think, and you send me yours, and I'll look at yours, and I'll tell you what I think. And then you're critiquing each other so that you can have that extra set of eyes before you turn it in. Because once you turn it in, that's it. Some of the teachers are cool. I didn't know this until my final week after talking to the teacher, but you can even send it to them, not as an assignment, but send it to them early, like, this is what I got. Any hints to help me out if you don't have any friends or you don't feel comfortable talking to people? But I highly recommend that you communicate with your classmates and you talk to as many people as possible and you be social. I'm a pretty antisocial person. I didn't even want to do this video, to be completely honest, because I don't like people looking at me. It's just me. But the more you put into it, is the more you get out of it. And you need to be social, because no matter what you do pertaining to Full Sail and what they teach, you're going to have to work with other people. So you're going to have to get over that boundary of not wanting to work with other people and get over the fact that you don't want people to see you. Like what I'm having to do right now to help out future people so that they don't have the struggles I had, or they don't have to jump with the epiphanies I have. And I think it might help some people in the long run. You got the extra eyes, look at your assignment. And then once you've had those extra eyes look at it, you can turn it in. Be active in the discussion. They're going to tell you they only want you to respond twice to other students' discussions for stuff. Go beyond that. Respond as much as possible. Try to write, like I was doing this for month 1. I'd write 3 to 4 sentences. I try to grammar correct it and spell check it before I turn it in, because that's going to affect your grade. But now going into my second month, they want you to write 5 to 6 sentences. So if you guys are doing what I'm just now learning in month 2, the end of month 2, from the beginning, you'll already be prepared to write 5 to 6 sentences for everything that they give you. And you don't want run-on paragraphs and sentences. Break them up. If you know that's the end of one idea and it's the start of another idea, break it up. I mean, I can't speak for what you guys learned in school, but I know we learned how to write paragraphs when I was in school, even though I'm a dinosaur, and that was a while back. Regardless of how young you guys may think I look, I'm pretty old. But we learned to write paragraphs when I was in high school and middle school and stuff. So I'm pretty sure you guys know how to write paragraphs and keep it to the 5 to 6 sentences, 7 or 8 maybe maximum, and then jump it into a new paragraph to continue your idea, but in a different way or whatnot. You definitely want to do that. Once you've done that and you get out that first month, that's 1 month out of the way. That's one class out of the way. And before you even realize it, it'll be over. Each week they go by. I don't know, maybe because I'm old, time flies for me, but I feel, and my buddy who I'm going to school with at the same time, even though we're in different classes and have been from the beginning, we feel that time has flew for us. Like, I remember the first week of the first class and the orientation, and bam, here I am. I'm already done with week 3 of my second class, and I only have a week to go, and it's over. It's done. I'm finished with 2 classes, and I'm on to my third class, which is a core class for me. So the only people that are going to have this class are the people who are taking the same thing as me for class number 3 or 4, if you can include orientation, which they kind of do. So I'm just looking back at this, and I'm taking the time to see it, and I'm like, wow, this is flying by. But because I'm putting in so much effort into the class, I'm really getting a lot out of it. Like right now, I have A in my creative presentation. I have an A+ in orientation. I mean, that don't mean anything because it's orientation. But so far, I'm at an A+ in my psychology class, the psychology of play. And that's because I'm putting in the effort, and I'm really taking, even though they're gonna have you do some stuff like you're gonna have to do your schedule every week, and you're gonna have to try to meet as much of that schedule as possible. Even if you can't meet the goals in the schedule in the first week, it's okay. Don't blow it off completely and do nothing. Do as much of it as you can and be honest with it. Tell your instructor, you know, I'd only completed 50% of this first week. I kind of just got sidetracked with stuff and forgot about it, but this is what I did. This is what I did well. This is what I forgot. This is what I did bad. And this is my plan going into week 2 to do it better. And then when you do your week 2, say that in there, like, damn, this is what I did. This is what I want to do better. And they're going to have a lot of stuff that requires a lot of thought and personal feedback from you. And if you keep it honest, I don't see no reason why they would take a lot more grade points from you. I mean, you're keeping it honest with them. They keep it honest with you. Let's see. Some people, my buddy, he thinks, and I think it could be the instructor. I think maybe I'm lucky, and the 2 instructors that I've gotten back to back are interesting people that share a lot of common interests that I have in terms of the type of games they play. Like, I had a teacher who's writing a book, and even though she's writing a book and she told me the stuff that she's interested in, I was surprised to find out that she plays Bethesda, and she was telling me stuff about Riot Games, how she used to be a big League of Legends fan, and some stuff she found out about them. And I was like, oh, I didn't even know that. And I'm a person that played League, so that sways you. And she tells you what she's learned about students going in time and from when she meets them, because that, you know, that's the first class to when they graduate, how she can see from how much they pay attention in that class, how much they grow. And some of them that kind of brush her class off, how much it affects them later. So I say, in all honesty, pay as much attention as you can to the class, because it's only going to help you. And if you ask questions, you get answers. And participate. Like when you do the class sessions, do your best to make it. Because if you don't make it, sure, you can watch the recording, and that's a cool thing for people that can't make it. But try to make it. And for like me, in the first class, because of the timing of the recording, I would just make it home in time to catch it. Maybe late by 5 minutes, 10 minutes. But I would get in there. I stay there the entire time. I ask questions, because a lot of the stuff they do in the recording is the reading. And I would say, my hand up, in all honesty, most of the time I probably didn't even do the reading. In the first class, I did the reading because I'm like, I don't know how much this is going to affect my grade, so I'm doing the reading. In the second class, I was kind of like, after the first session, because I was like, I'm going to do the reading later in the week because there's a lot of reading to do, and we still got all these assignments. But during the sessions, I was like, oh, snap. Everything in the reading was in the session, and I thought I was being smart by paying attention, so I'd pick like keywords from the reading as they're doing the session, and then I'll be like, oh, you're talking about this, and they're like, oh yeah, I can see you've been doing the reading, and I'm like, you know, I haven't been doing any of the reading at all. I'm just like throwing stuff in there, but a lot of the stuff they're saying is the reading. So if you take the session and then you go back over the reading, you can skim over it and pull out the important stuff you remember from the session when you do your open book tests when you get to the psychology of play. In the first class, you're not going to have any open book tests, but you will have a project that's split up throughout each week leading up to the final week to complete. And how much you put into it depends on what your grade's going to be and how much you put into these open book tests, because they're the open book tests each, I want to say the open book tests each week are going to be 7% of your grade, while your main assignment, it's going to be 10% of your grade, and doing that weekly plan is going to be 5% of your grade. So you can see right there, that's almost 25% of your grade every week, boom, 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 coming in. So each part makes a huge difference, because if you're only getting a 90% on your open book test, and it's open book, so there should be no reason nobody fails that. I mean, I got a 90, and maybe it's just because I couldn't find it, and me and my buddy that I do it with, we couldn't find the answers. But in week 3, we got a 100, so obviously we're doing something right because it's improving. But that's open book. There should be no reason you fail in that, and that's 7% of your grade. The main assignment, do all parts. So complete everything the teacher asks of you. Make the responses, because that's part of your grade. Grammar check it, spell check it. There's websites for that stuff. So if you don't think you have the aptitude to grammar or spell check yourself, the computer's going to do it for you automatically, spell check and grammar check. But if you are questioning even that, go to the websites, Grammarly, and there's all kinds of websites out there for you to spell check your stuff. So take the time to do it. It'll get better. I don't know. I can't think of anything else as of right now for the first 2 classes in that orientation. Make sure you do the orientation. Make sure you're taking the time out of your busy lives, work, whatever, families, whatever you got going on. As you can hear in the background, I myself also have a family, but take that time out to actually do the assignments, and it'll pay dividends into your grades, and it'll pay dividends into what you're getting out of this school, because you're putting in the time and the effort, and it's going to be coming back to you. Anyway, that's what I got so far. You guys will be hearing a video. If you hit that subscribe button, you'll see it pop up. I'll always title all the videos Full Sail University, what I learned. This one will say 1. The next one will say 2. It'll be like every 2 months I'll post one, and it'll tell you about one class and the next. And anything I get from the school along the way, I'll do a little video presentation of that as well. Anyway, I'm Brandon Willis, also known as Army 2 Willis, and this is what I got from Full Sail. And I'll see you later.